Good afternoon. Today's webinar is kind of self-promoting because I want to say to you that you still need us, even though you live abroad, you live overseas. So today's webinar is about American living overseas. You still need your CPA. You still need a community CPA. All right, let's talk about that. And I have summarized the important things for you to know if you are thinking of moving overseas, whether to work or to stay for a while, or even to obtain the foreign country's citizenship. So if you have that kind of thought, what is all involved on the tax world side, right? So we want to make that really clear with people so you are prepared. Now, right before we get into our webinar, I want to show you our website. This is our website, communitycpa.com. You can come over here and to get into video conference with us easily. You come to this appointment button and you will see people that's available, and I am listed right here. So from here, you can actually book my time and get into consultation, especially when you are abroad, you are not in US, and you want to understand what to do with your taxes and all that. We have done so many of those cases. People are calling us and video with us from all over the world. So as long as you are American, and you will need us, right? So this is our YouTube channel. Once we finish this webinar, you will actually see this copy on our YouTube channel. To search our YouTube channel, you go to youtube.com and you just put in Community CPA, type in Community CPA, then you will see our channel. I would like you to subscribe to our channel so you always get updated. Every time we have a new webinar come out, you will get notification. Look at the topic of the notification. If it is interested to you, then you come on and you can learn later, right? All right, let's get going with our today's topic. I can't wait because it is quite heavy lifting, and I want to go through that within an hour, hopefully finish early. I know the shorter the better, but sometimes those knowledge doesn't transfer like in like TikTok. It doesn't work that way. All right, so let me get your PowerPoint started from here. All right, I know you see what I'm seeing. Americans living overseas, you still need your CPA. And a couple of slides before that is about our firm. You know us, communitycpa.com, and we are a regional firm. We right now have branches in Iowa, Minnesota, California, and Texas. So wait for us to expand to other areas, and we will keep you posted. And of course, we always show you the 2 books I wrote so far, and I am working on the third one. Really kind of difficult to give birth to the third one because I felt like I'm not really yet finished expanding the business, because the first 2 books is starting and growing. The third one is expanding. Expanding takes time. Community CPA is still in the midst of it, so it's hard to finish that book. But I have a lot of clients are expanding. The stories are tremendous, and some of them are still waiting for the final results. So that book, it will come out when the time is right, but we are making that book right now. And no responsibility disclaimer, of course. This is just to say that if you just copy the knowledge, then do it on your own, you may not really get there. So what we recommend you to do that if you want the responsibility to be on certain party, you need to engage them, you need to have the contract. So when you work with us and you basically engaged Community CPA to do service for you, then the work we do, we of course have responsibility over that. But internet knowledge is internet knowledge. That bears no responsibility whatsoever, right? You understand? All right, let's get to the meat of it. The current status on American immigration. See, American immigration is a thing. It's not just new, and it is has been going more and more American emigrate to other country. That trend is kind of going up. Approximately 5.4 million Americans currently already overseas. So if you take this group of people, put in the state, it is the 23rd largest state in United States of America. It's a lot of people, 5.4 million. And between 2005 and 2019, the number of Americans emigrating to other countries rose significantly from 29, almost 30 million to 40 million. So on record, the first 6 months of 2024, there's 1,300 migrated to other countries. So that's kind of going up. You know, this is on record how many people left U.S. And the Newsweek published an article and stated that Trump's victory sparks rise in Americans looking to live in other country. It published a full list of celebrities are living U.S. Arton Capital is one of those companies kind of promoting global economy and global citizenship. And that company has published an article saying that 53% of American millionaires are more likely to leave U.S. after the election. So it just, you know, in the big scheme of work we are looking at, so there's more and more Americans will have issues related to living abroad and what to do with the U.S. tax, right? So that is why we are here, because we hear people asking these questions. We know there is a trend influencing, there is a trend going for emigration right now. Economic factors and the political climate and the culture lifestyle preferences, right? In summary, the number of Americans leaving U.S. is on the rise due to the economic pressures, political dissatisfaction, and lifestyle choices, right? That indicated a significant shift in immigration patterns that may continue in the foreseeable future. And if that continues, that just means this part of taxes is going to have a lot more significance. Actually, I was reading something online. I think on the Google search, they had 580% increase in search item on immigration. American citizen moving abroad. So that gives you an idea. How many ways a U.S. citizen to live abroad? How many ways can a U.S. person live abroad? So I made a list of that because those are the ones we knew. And maybe there's other ones that we don't know from our work standpoint, but these are the we see happening. So renounce U.S. citizenship, which is just give it up. I'm not U.S. citizen anymore. I am somebody else in some other country. Of course, if you renounce U.S. citizenship, you're no longer U.S. citizen. So the tax side of things, you have to conclude that, but you don't have to have anything to continue anymore because you renounce your citizenship. But majority of the tax complication for people who renounce the U.S. citizenship comes at the cutoff, right? So if you go to Australia and you cut off, when do you cut off? And the day you move is December, then you still have January to December U.S. tax to file. And then once you get into Australia, because their tax season starts from July to June, so you need to figure out the hypothetical tax return for 1 year to get that connection done. So those are the things you will come across, and then you will know where to go in terms of getting that resolved, right? And so I just realized that I probably misspelled a word there, but ABOARD, I sort of A here. All right, so, well, remember that that English is my second language, okay? I do have a disclaimer here. Then the other way to look at leaving U.S., the U.S. citizen living abroad, it is actually remaining as U.S. citizen, but holding a foreign country's green card or a long-term visa. So that happens a lot for people who are going to the foreign country stay over 6 months, that country may give you extended long-term visa easily. There's a lot of programs like that in Puerto Rico and in Europe and also Mexico, and they give you this work visa easily if you want to stay in their country and for a prolonged time. You can work overseas. Remote workers obtain work visa from foreign country. That's another way of staying overseas. Temporary living U.S. and visitor to the foreign country. That's another way to go abroad, right? So those are the things you can do as a U.S. citizen. And do U.S. citizens have to pay taxes when living abroad? Okay, that's a million-dollar question that has been asked so many times. I guess it's not a million-dollar question for the worth of the question, it's for the frequency of the question. There's so many people ask for that, right? So if you are a American expat, so the expat means that someone who leaves their country of origin and settle abroad for an extended period of time, often permanently. So they call them expat, right? If you are American citizen and move to another country, you plan to stay there, you are effectively an expat, okay? You are still subject to U.S. taxes. The U.S. tax covers your whole worldwide income from all sources, no matter where you live. And the only way to leave U.S. taxes behind is to renounce your citizenship. Even if you are a dual citizenship, you cannot say, well, I automatically switch to the other one. No, you have to renounce the U.S. citizenship so you can put U.S. tax behind. Otherwise, you need a community CPA. Does that make sense? The U.S. residents aliens, those are the green card holders, for example, are also subject to U.S. taxes on their worldwide income. Filing requirements are the same as U.S. citizen. Check your filing status, age, and income. See whether you need to file a tax return because your requirement is the same as U.S. citizen. All right, so the answer is yes. Do U.S. citizens have to pay taxes when living abroad? Question is yes. And so that U.S. citizen in this question also include those people who are U.S. resident aliens, like green card holders. Why Americans need a CPA firm while living abroad? So I want to give you a reason. So why do you need community CPA when you are not even in the country, you are somewhere in Italy? Let me tell you why. Because our firm, we are experienced in U.S. international tax laws. So these are 3 things you must know when you live abroad and you are a U.S. citizen or green card holder. You need to know your foreign earned income exclusion. You need to know your foreign tax credit. You need to know your foreign tax treaty, whichever country you are in. And we untangled countless foreign complex tax situation for U.S. citizens. So our firm, we know that stuff. And we know how to help you to be in compliance, to avoid penalties. So I will give you the list of the penalty, folks. So, to shock you, so you can remember what I said. Next time you meet someone or you are the one going abroad thinking you don't have to worry about U.S., you're wrong. You need to worry about IRS. So this is foreign earned income tax exclusion. It is a good news in certain ways because that's the form, right? You must know. It's 2555. You do not have to, if you file this form, you do not have to pay taxes for your first $126,500 of a foreign income in 2024 tax year. That number changes every year, but in 2024, this much money you made, your foreign earned income, you don't have to pay taxes. The passive income like the interest, dividend, they don't count. They're not earned income, okay? This is just your earned income. So you must know how to calculate that. You must know how to handle foreign tax credit. If you had to pay or have accrued foreign income tax, you can claim those tax credit on IRS form 1116. To qualify for that credit, the tax need to be imposed on you by the foreign country, and you must have actually paid it. You have to be able to prove that it was paid. Cannot be something, oh, I will pay, so let's put a tax credit on there. No, it has to be something already happened. The third one, foreign tax treaties. So this is a big topic. There are people having their life devoted to foreign tax treaties, and they are the expert for that. But it is not difficult for you. You don't need to be expert for all the foreign tax treaties that IRS has. And whichever country you go, you can come over here, the website, to find that country treaty and just give yourself an understanding of what kind of things they have in the treaty. So let me give you an example of a Canadian tax treaty with U.S. So this is the one between U.S. and Canada. And what I want to impress you upon is the detailed articles that in this treaty. So you can find out that they're talking about business profit. They're talking about rent. They're talking about royalty. So all of these one is trying to figure out when the two countries have a citizen, the U.S. citizen lives in Canada, and what kind of tax there is so to avoid double taxation. So this treaty is aimed at to avoid double taxation, so you don't be taxed in Canada and taxed again in U.S. So with that nature, and treaty is something you should know if you decided to live in that country for a long time, right? All right. So to summarize, the tax obligation for American living overseas is the U.S. citizen must file tax regardless of citizen of whatever country. The key form you need to know is the Form 1040 and is the FRAR form and the FATCA form. I will explain that to you. And for the income reporting, worldwide income you must report, foreign earned income you must report, foreign tax credit you must report. Submitting FBAR, people calling that, right? You know how to submit 1040. And even if you are overseas, you can still submit 1040 electronically, and you can get your 1040 done with a CPA firm like Community CPA. Then we submit that for you, and there are signatures and things that can be done remotely. So it made really convenient for expat to handle their taxes. For FBAR, how do you submit FBAR? The FBAR is submitted separately from your tax return to the Financial Crimes Enforcement Network. That's why they call them FinCEN. Okay, not the IRS. It is a different federal organization. It is submitted electronically using FinCEN BSAE file system. So at least you know. That is something, of course, the CPA firm would do that for you if you were engaged in Community CPA or other CPA firm, right? The official due date for FBAR is the same as the tax return, April 15, and if you got extension, it is October 15. The penalty for not filing FBAR is severe, and it can result in penalty ranging from $10,000 to $100,000. I'll give you more detail of how people charge you when you are not filing this properly. Submitting Foreign Account Tax Compliance Act, which they call the FATCA, is a Form 8938. So filing Form 8938, this is submitted with your tax return, with your 1040. The IRS also require foreign financial institution to report directly of their U.S. taxpayer foreign financial account to them. So this is, between the countries, there will be agreement. So tax treaty is the one regulates that. There's also G20 that you heard of, and the countries come together and sharing information. So they just want to make sure that they got hold of their citizen paying taxes. So U.S. is one of those countries wanting to know, all the U.S. taxpayers, and whether they pay taxes or not on foreign income. Foreign financial asset includes bank account, foreign stock, security, foreign financial instruments and contracts with non-U.S. persons, and interest in foreign entities. So non-U.S. person just means other non-U.S. entities, U.S. Legal entities, Then the interest in foreign entity, like, foreign bank, you have the foreign bank account, and the foreign stock trading, like Robinhood here in U.S. and in the foreign, they would be called other Robinhood, right? So those are the ones you need to put on your 8938. And one other things I want to mention to everyone. Yes, we talk a lot about federal, right? IRS, FinCEN, all of these federal agencies, they need to know what you're doing. The immigration wants to know whether you denounced your citizenship, and so all of that stuff. But what about state? What about the state that you move out of? What if you are Iowan, you move out of Iowa to Canada? So every U.S. state has a different tax laws, but generally speaking, you only need to pay the state taxes if you have ties to the state. Just know that ties to the state doesn't mean income from the state. No. Ties to the state means that you live in the state for part of the year. You maintain a home in the state. You still have financial account in the state. You maintain a driver license. And you maintain the voter registration in the state. See that? That actually doesn't take you out from paying income tax. Even though you are expats, you still have to pay the state tax return because you still registered to vote in Iowa, you still have Iowa driver license, and you also have credit unions, financial bank account open, and you have your home here, and you're still claiming homestead credit, and you lived part of the year here, so that year, you still have to pay state tax. These are ties, right? Penalty for non-compliance. What if you just didn't know any of that, right? And now you are hearing Ying talking about these things, you suddenly feel like, man, I might end up, having some penalties. The U.S. taxpayers, including green card holders, must report all income, including foreign income. If you don't, you may face penalties, even if you do not owe any federal income tax. Hear that? Even though your income is low, you don't need to pay taxes, but because you don't file, and you may face penalty. And the IRS penalize both failure to report and the failure to pay, and these penalties can be substantial, means big, can be big. List of penalties that applies to you. My goal is to get you so overwhelmed so you will do it right, I'm pretty good at doing that, but this is for real. This is the applicable penalties to the expat who doesn't follow the rules. Failure to file penalty, failure to pay penalty, accuracy-related penalty. Those three are regular penalties, like you see it every day, all the time. Even people who are living in U.S., they don't file their taxes properly, they have those penalties. FRAR violation penalties. That is a penalty. Form 8938 violation penalty, underpayment penalty. Those are the ones. So let's look at the dollar amount of those ones, right? And you want to know how much of a damage there is? So damage by dollars. FRAR violations. If you fail to file foreign bank account report, which is abbreviated FRAR, foreign bank account report, the penalty for non-willful violation can be up to $10,000 per violation. But for willful violation, penalty can be significantly higher, potentially reaching the greater of $100,000 or 50% of the highest balance in the account. That's a lot. So if you are in violation of that, it is so important to know, to have someone help you identify whether it's willful or not. If it is willful, if you cannot prove it's non-willful, you fall into that big dollar amount. If in one day you got $1 million deposit in your foreign account, then the next day you moved it out, it becomes zero. Sorry, 50% of $1 million is a $500,000 penalty for a willful violation. What about 8938? Failing to file Form 8938, okay, incurs a penalty of $10,000 for each violation, with an additional $10,000 for each month of non-compliance after receiving notice from IRS. What about underpayment penalty? If the IRS determines that you underreported your income due to undisclosed foreign income, a penalty of 40% may apply on the underpaid tax amount attributable to those assets. If the fraud is involved, the penalty increased to 75%, from 40 to 75. Just big dollars, folks. So you want to just follow the step, do it right. Steps to ensure compliance. So with all of these things, we know what responsibility you have. We also know that all these possible charges, the damages that could happen to your dollars, and what are the steps to ensure you are in compliance. So the first point I have here is so important because I don't want our folks to jump into amending the returns. Oh yes, I forgot to report FRAR. I'm wrong. I didn't know. Let's amend my taxes. No. And you want to use IRS's streamlined filing compliance procedures designed for taxpayer who has failed to report foreign income and assets non-willfully. Do not amend. Just use that program procedures, follow the procedures, and correcting yourself. Do not jump into amendment. Hire community CPA or alike, right? Find a CPA firm or law firm that experienced with expats, taxes, and international law. And keep up with the law changes by subscribing to YouTube channel. Actually, we are pretty current in the most current issues. I think this is the first Saturday webinar we have in 2025. And if you just casually go on to CNN News, Fox News, I'm just naming these two major outlets, and you will find information related to immigration. And it is something that is going on right now. And so a lot of people, before you decide to emigrate to another country, know your responsibility as long as you don't renounce your citizenship. You have a huge responsibility. The IRS can pull you back with $500,000 penalty. So you need to know that ahead of time. And stay informed. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and always stay current. Organize your financial data. That's important. Maintain thorough documentation. If you have our client portal, like Community CPA, we offer client portal, and that space is for you to save your tax document. And that one has no limited memories. Like you can save whatever you want. You can put all the things in there, whether you're in Italy or you're in Singapore, it doesn't matter, because you can log into our portal, you can do what you need to do. All right, that concludes the core content I have for today. And I hope that offered you a little bit insight of what you need to do if you are considering to be one of those immigrants to another country for permanently or for short term, knowing that going away from U.S. to another country, there's so many things you can do, right? I listed the options how you can be there, but just never ever forget about the connection you have in U.S., the tax compliance that you need to fulfill, and that is your responsibility. And I will show you this screen again because this is the video conference that you can have with us on our communitycpa.com website, and I am listed there. You can check out my calendar and book my time, and I'm here for you. And other things I want to mention is our tax planning, tax strategy services that at our firm, and you can always looking into planning your steps, and we're here to help you to plan. And we again mentioned to you about subscribing to our YouTube channel and as well as our website, and you can email Catherine at communitycpa.com. She is the ear, she is the eye for the market out there for CPA firms. We knew what topic is important at the time, and we bring that into the webinar and air that to you so you gain the knowledge just as we do as well. And we always believe that in the professional service area there is no such thing about we know you don't know, and the professional service firms are there to have you know. We also know, so we grow together and we help each other. And remember, we are a CPA firm open 6 days a week, and from Monday to Saturday, 8:30 to 5:30. During those time you call, we always have a real person online to receive your call, and I welcome you to subscribe to our channel and then join me on Saturday, 3 p.m. I always give out the most important topics at that time. So I will see you again